Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you already know, go down here. Yep, go in your settings, go in there and find your subscribe button and go ahead on and subscribe. And while you're in there, hit your notification bell so you know when I upload or when I just want to pop in. And give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis, that beast, that algorithm. I'm telling you, it has me by my neck and it's dragging me up and down these internet streets. I really would appreciate your help with that. Also, right about here, that's our join button. That's for channel memberships. And if you choose to become a channel member and a part of the reading club, you will be supporting my channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And let me say, I will be so grateful and so thankful for that support. If you just want to do a one-time donation, our super thanks button is over there, and all donations to this channel is always greatly appreciated. Also, I have two shout outs for super thanks, and they are Elegant Paws, who is a die-hard, faithful supporter of this channel, and I am so appreciative for them. Excuse me. And Deborah Copeland, who is another faithful supporter of this channel, and I am so grateful to have her. Thank y'all for the super thanks. All right, with all that said, let's get to the read because, as usual, I've been in these internet streets, and of course, I find so much that I want to bring back to share with y'all. So, let's get to the read. And when I'm putting the read together, of course, I'm up and down and all around and on the corners of every street in these internet streets. And of course, I have found good stuff. I was over to Instagram and they are just still over the moon about Harry speaking to NATO. It is so many great posts over there. They also are dragging Kate a little bit, and we'll talk about that later. They're dragging William for this documentary. I'm just going to leave it there. And of course, I didn't go over to the dark side. I said every time I go over to the dark side, I am going to do a pop up. So I did not go over to the dark side. And hey, y'all look for those pop ups, okay? Because they are just us talking and discussing what they're talking about and discussing over to the dark side. That's all the dark side is about. It is not about any horror or anything like that. Although what they be saying over there about Harry and Meghan all up in their business is horrible. But the dark side is not about horror. It is about discussing what they are discussing over there, breaking it down and just absolutely ripping them apart for their nonsense. That's basically what the dark side, the Tales from the Dark Side is about. Also, I was over on TikTok a little bit. There is a lot of stuff about Harry. Everybody's wild about Harry. They are. And of course, I was at my home away from home over on X, formerly known as Twitter, and they are talking about some everything over there. They're all over the place. They are dragging William, they are dragging Kate, they're dragging everybody that needs to be drugged, and they are over the moon about Harry. And they're also talking a little bit about Megan's trademark, and we're gonna get into that a little bit. Yeah, it's so much. So let's get to the read. Let's get to the read. First up, I'm gonna put this up here. And I saw this particular post and I said, oh, this is how I feel. It says, magnificent picture. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? It said, please pause and absorb how the visual is so absolutely powerful. Awesome photo of Prince Harry in full discussion via VTC about the Invictus Games at a round table of NATO headquarters. Ooh, it is. Is that? Look that visual. Whew, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, we're going to put this one up. It says, let me put a link here for a lazy derangers. Because the derangers saw this, and of course, they had to kick into full mode of lying. They cannot handle the truth. It's kind of like that movie. I'm going to ask y'all, what movie is that from? He said, you cannot handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. Tom Cruise was saying, what is the truth? What is the truth? And this particular actor, Jack Nicholson, said, you can't handle the truth. What is that movie from? So put it in the comments if you know. But that's the way the derangers are. They cannot handle the truth. They have to make up lies. You know what? I got one of them was in my comments and I ate her up. You know, it's so funny to me that they feel like they can come in a Sussex friendly zone and be talking at the side of their neck and nobody is going to say anything to them. But you got the wrong one, baby, or should I say you got the right one? Because I'm always going to go for that neck. And so if y'all see someone like that in the comments, make sure y'all go for their necks. Because if y'all don't, if I see them, I will. But I digress. This, I'm going to put it up because these arrangers they are just like flies buzzing around your face. I mean, with their lies and nonsense, and then try to gaslight you into thinking that you're crazy. Yeah, this particular troll came in my comments talking about, is this a prodigy? Well, that answer you got back, I don't think a prodigy would tell you that. But yes, they think that they somehow have the high ground, that they can come and talk to you out the side of their neck and come to you crazy. But it is some squatties who will meet you where you are, and I am one of them. And so is this squatty right here. She said, let me put a link here for the lazy derangers who are crying and claiming that the picture of Prince Harry addressing NATO is a old picture. Stay sad, stay crying, clowns. And I love that word clowns because we all know it's just a bunch of bozos. And it says, by the way, don't forget to look at the date on the link. Look at it. All right, we're going to go to this one. And this is another thing I have said time and time again. That is why it's so important to fight back. That is why it's so important to have your voice and put it out there. This particular squatty said this. They're watching our tweets. How do we know they're watching our tweets? Because yesterday I even brought it in my own podcast where the squatties had said they spied the picture of Harry and Meghan's wedding. And we all talked about the significance of royals using pictures to speak for them. I even talked about how everybody would watch the Queen's Christmas address to see what pictures she had on her desk and the pictures that surrounded her. Like if she held an audience with someone within her office or her sitting room, people would analyze the pictures that she had on display. And it was very well known that the Queen would change out pictures. So Harry is letting them know through pictures that him and Megan, all with them are well. So this squatty said this, and the reason they said this is because look what people went and wrote. After they went on all the squatties' timelines and squatties were posting about the picture that Harry had on display, people posted this. It says Prince Harry display wedding pictures with Meghan Markle during visual appearance at NATO meeting. Exactly. exactly. And also what they found out while they was I spying all our posts and tweets was the fact that this meant something. It meant something because a lot of people dealing with the royals are just people who are, fly by night. They don't know the history of what has gone down. And that is why it's so important to educate people and let them know this is the reason that's there. This particular article said, and like I said, it's from People, and it says the Duke of Sussex had photo visible from the royal wedding day, and also wore a very British accessory. And he's talking about they're talking about the poppy. Harry never forgets his comrades at arms, his comrades of arms. I think that's the way you say it. He never forget them. He might be living in the United States, but Harry is a British citizen who loves his country. He just do not love the press. And I love it. And he always shows his respects for his veterans and the people that he fought with and the people he fought for. It says Prince Harry seemed to have a special photo with Meghan Markle displayed while appearing virtually at NATO meeting. On October 30th, the Duke of Sussex 40 spoke to NATO military committee at NATO headquarters via video teleconference about the Invictus Game Foundation's mission of uplifting wounded, injured, and sick service people. It says a statement said that the group briefed the military committee about Invictus and how it is accelerating its vision. Prince Harry, a former captain in the British Army, who could have went higher, but he could never go so high that he would outrank William. They have always held Harry back, and that is why Harry is soaring right now. He doesn't have them holding him back, stifling his creativity. And let's go on. It said Prince Harry, a former captain in the British Army, launched the Invictus Games as an international adaptive sports tournament for wounded, injured, and service personnel and veterans as a means of healing in 2014. Now, where is William or Kate's name? These derangers try to gaslight other people who don't know, people who are not educated, people who wasn't there when it all went down, and people who have educated themselves to know exactly what went down. And they want to try to say that somehow, just because the Invictus Game was created under the umbrella of the Princess's Trust, that somehow, now is it the Princess Trust or the royal, so whatever, him and Kate and hold on. Yeah, where is William and Kate in that little scenario? Harry created these games out of whole cloth when he was coming back from Afghanistan, and he was on a helicopter with a very injured soldier. And so he decided to create these games after going and witnessing the warrior games that the United States put on. And so he decided to create the Invictus Games. And this is how it got started. It had nothing to do with William Arcade. That's what the Rangers want to gaslight and lie about. Just because it was created under the royal, what is it? The royal what? I forgot again. And just because it was created under the umbrella of the Royal Foundation doesn't mean that they had anything to do with it. They didn't have any kind of output whatsoever, because you best believe if they had had any output in it, they would be speaking about it right now, because everything that they touch over there, that they do, William and Kate and Charles and Camilla, flippity, flippity flops. And we're going to go into his latest project and how it has flippity, flippity flopped. But let's go on. It says a statement said that the group briefed the military committee about Invictus and how it is accelerating its vision. Prince Harry, former captain, and I went into that. And that is the reason why Harry is the sole founder of the Invictus Game. It says while Invictus Games is synonymous with competition held binarily in different cities around the world, it also offers programs beyond the games with aspirations of building a global network of support for wounded, injured, and sick veterans. That means they want to build these networks of places for veterans all over the world. I love it. It says Prince Harry appears at the meeting via video screen, and then they go into that. And then they talked about what he was wearing. It said Prince Harry appeared in the meeting via video screen, and he pinned a red poppy onto his suit lapel. Every November, members of the British royal family are known to incorporate the symbolic flower into their wardrobes. Poppies have always been used since 1921 to remember and honor service personnel who died in the war. And the red flower is closely associated with the UK and the Commonwealth country for Remembrance Day on November the 11th. That is, and see, Harry, even though he doesn't live in the UK, doesn't mean the UK is not a part of who he is. And I love that about him. Harry loves his country. He loves his country, and his country loves him. The rub is his family and that media over there. I'm just saying. And this part was very interesting to me. They talked about King Charles's son. Harry is the most famous one over there, and they want to try to give Charles some of Harry's shine. Talk about King Charles' son sat before a set of white shelves where a photo of his royal wedding day appeared to be on display. To be displayed, Prince Harry and Meghan, 43, married in a fairy tale ceremony at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle on May 19, 2018. And then they go on into it and how the Queen gave him the title, him and Meghan, the title of Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And then they also start talking about their children, Prince Archie 5 and Princess Lilibet 3. Yes, it was a really, really good article. And it was spurred on and inspired by squatties on X and Instagram showing up and showing out for Harry and Meghan and calling out what we saw behind Harry. I love that. That's why you cannot hold your tongue if you're a squatty. I held mine too long. I wish I had started speaking out even more. But it is what it is. But I am a advocate believer that you have to speak up. You have to post. I be on X posting all the time, every day. Like I said, sometimes I throw hands, sometimes I don't, but I be over there to add my voice. And I be on this podcast every day to add my voice. All right, I'm going to put this up. It says, in labeling Prince Harry as the rebellious spare, the country and the monarchy overlooked what should have been obvious: a natural leader with an innate understanding of people and a desire to serve. Where is the lie? And now I'm going to read from this article that I found. And this is what it says: how the royal family misjudged Harry's true potential. I don't agree with that. I think they knew exactly who Harry was. That's why they went out of their way to try to suppress him, try to keep their foot on his neck, keep him in rags, keep him thinking that he was dumb. He had he was always second to his brother. His brother was always smarter. All these things in order to stifle his creativity and his shine. But let's go on. It said for much of his life, Prince Harry was cast as the spare, the younger brother, the mischievous royal, the one who could never quite live up to his elder sibling's destiny. Harry has long surpassed that. Everybody know who is the best one for the job, but that's not how you get the job. How you get the job is you coming out of the birth canal first. Because if it was done on merit, we would be looking at good King Harry. I'm just saying. And it says his occasional missteps in his youth, magnified by by a relentless tabloid culture, only reinforced this narrative. Instead of seeing Harry as a young man grappling with immense pressure and personal tragedy, Britain and the royal family typecast him as the fun loving, hard partying royal who simply couldn't measure up. And that is what William always wanted. But in his heart of hearts, and I always say this, William knew who was the better man. That is why he has tried so hard to pretty much sabotage everything Harry has done. They kept Harry in rags. I mean, it all was in order to make William feel better than. They knew exactly who they had in Harry. Like I said, that's the only thing in this article that I disagree with is the title. They didn't misjudge him. They knew exactly who he was. And that is why they behaved as they did. Let's go on. It said, but in labeling Harry rebellious spare, the country and the monarchy overlooked what could have been obviously a natural leader with the innate understanding of people and a desire to serve. Rather than nurturing these gifts, the royal family seemed more concerned with reining him in, focusing on his flaws rather than his potential. The truth is, it wasn't until Harry stepped away from the rigid confines of royal life that his leadership qualities truly begun to shine. For years, the UK and the monarchy downplayed his work, dismissed his military service, charity efforts, and a passion for mental health as a side project rather than seeing him as the work of the future global leader. His 10 years in the British Army, including time on the front line in Afghanistan, gave Harry's a depth of experience, his sense of purpose, and a connection to ordinary people that few other royals could claim. Few other royals couldn't claim that because few other royals wanted to claim it. This is a family of people who they just are snobs. They don't want to be with regular people. They don't want to be a part of that. William and Kate has just started to want to do that, and it is all superficial. Don't get it twisted. This whole new thing about we want to be seen as like everybody else, all that is a play to be more popular. This is not who these people are. You remember Megan said when she first met William and Kate, she hugged them and they absolutely stood there like boards. These people are not like very warm and fuzzy people. They're not. They are so used to looking their nose down at people. And all of a sudden, now that is not something that is acceptable anymore. They want to take that hat off and put on another hat and transform themselves into these lovable, fuzzy, relatable couple down the street. But it's not going to work because it is so easily seen through. I'm just saying. And it says for years, the UK and the monarchy downplayed his work, dismissed his military service, charity efforts, and passion for mental health as a side project rather than seeing them as the work of a future global leader. His 10 years in the British Army, including time on the front line in Afghanistan, gave Harry the depth of experience and a sense of purpose and a connection to ordinary people that few other royals could claim. Yet within the institution, he was still boxed into a role of the fun, slightly reckless young prince, while the true value of the, while the true value of his experience was ignored. Perhaps it took leaving the UK for the world to finally appreciate Harry's gifts. Away from the structure of royal life, Harry has flourished. He has. Look at him on the big screen at NATO, doing his thing, being who he is unapologetically himself. He is, and I love it for Harry. I do. His work with the Invictus Games, his vocal support of mental health initiatives, and his dedication to causes like vaccine equity, has resonated globally. The truth is, Harry has always had these qualities of leadership: the empathy, the determination, and the ability to connect with people from all walks of life. And that right there is the shine. It's the shine that William and Kate do not have. They have to force it every time because it's not in them. And yet again, here they are, want to share. I saw an article saying that they want to share how they're going to take the kids trick or treating. When have we ever heard of royal well, William and Kate taking any children trick or treat? All of a sudden, they trick or treating this year. Could it be that we got a picture from Harry and Meghan last year of them taking Archie trick or treating? Could that be it? I don't know, but I'm thinking, yeah, that might be it. What y'all think? But but they cannot relate to people. They can't. They can only be the phony balonies that they are, because at the end of the day, they are who they are, and that is a stuck up couple who don't know anything about everyday people and don't want to know. All they want to do, want everyday people to do, is to bow to them and to elevate them. William do not want to work for his people. He want his people to work for him, and it shows. I'm just saying. And it said what changed is that I'm gonna have to make this bigger because I cannot see that good. That's why I be stumbling over words. It said what's changed is that he's no longer bound by the traditions that kept him from realizing his full potential. And I say hallelujah to that. And perhaps it took Megan for Harry himself to fully see what he was capable of. And boy, has he. Because every time, in my podcast yesterday was about how good King Harry is always leveling up. He is leveling up. He always levels up. And I love that for him. And it said their partnership has been instrumental in his transformation, with Megan bringing her own set of experiences and values to their work. Together, they have created a platform that is so dynamic, inclusive, and action oriented. Megan supports like Megan's support likely gave Harry the confidence to step away from the royal institution and forge a path that is truly reflects his values. Far from the narrative of Harry being led astray, Megan simply helped him to see what he was capable of outside of the royal bubble. There you go. Tell me that is not a beautiful article because it's so true, except the first line, except the headline. That's the only thing I disagree with. They knew exactly who they were dealing with when they were dealing with Harry. That's why they went out of their way to keep him down. Because I saw where in an article that, in my research and my digging, and I'm always digging, I saw where one of the courtiers had said that Harry had always been a problem for the royal family because he was goal oriented. He actually wanted to initiate projects and to see them through. And the royal family is pretty much, let me cut this ribbon. Let me pull this string so I can show this plaque and go home. Let me take credit for someone else's work. That is the royal family. Or let me pretend like I care about something and let's get this money shot. That's who they were. And so Harry has always been a problem for them because he has always been goal oriented and result focused. I love it. I love this article. I love everything about it. And the sad part about it is that his country, the United Kingdom, missed out on this man who would have brought such value to their country. It have brought so many eyeballs to his country. So much to a country who really needs that. But out of jealousy, out of pettiness, these family members of Harry's and their inability to allow somebody else to shine has gotten them into this situation, and the country has really lost out. It has. I'm gonna put up this, and it says, this is a billionaire British taxpayer funded royal family plan and attended a garden party just to snub Prince Harry's 10th year Invictus anniversary honoring wounded war veterans. Y'all think they mad? And what this squatty is saying is Charles and William wouldn't even show up for the veterans just because Harry was the founder. They don't have the ability to set aside things when it's not about them. They make everything about them, including Invictus, instead of understanding that it's not about them, it's about the wounded veterans. It's about Invictus UK. But they cannot do that. And it's going to be so interesting to see exactly how they're going to handle the Invictus Games being in Birmingham. I am really interested to see if they're going to try to show up because it is so ridiculous that these people, these self absorbed individuals, cannot set aside their own grievances to be able to support the men and women who have given arms, legs, and their mental stability to the British Army. And now here they are in this competition and they can't even show up to support them in any kind of way. What kind of royal family is that? I'm just saying. And this is what this squatty is saying. And I think it's right on point. I'm just saying. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit because I saw this article in the Daily Fail. And so I did a little research and digging. Y'all know when my little antennas go up, I'll do a little digging and searching. And it's Richard Maureen Eden. He's always got something to say about Meghan or Harry. He's always talking about Meghan and Harry, the little weasel. And so he had wrote an article about American Riviera Orchard running into a major snag, like it is going to stop it from coming to be with their trademark situation. And basically what it is, they got a trademark protest. That's what American Riviera Orchard did. Well, wait a minute. Before I do that, I'm going to tell you how many articles were written about this nonsense. This nonsense. We got one from Marcus and talking about Megan is suffering a huge economical impact as she and Prince Harry trade change tracks in the latest business venture. It's one by Tatler, and they talking about is American Riviera Orchard in trouble? Megan's lifestyle brand is now subject to a trademark protest. And I'm telling you, I'm going to put up this and you'll see how many. And this is just a few of them. These are just a few of them writing this nonsense about this protest. And I'm going to tell you what the protest is about. All right, American Riviera Orchard has applied for a trademark and an international trademark, and it hit a snag because some of the things that it wants to sell is called one thing in one country and another thing in another country, so they had to correct that. All right, they reapplied and now they have received a trademark protest, meaning that this other company is saying that America Riviera Orchard is too close to their name and they feel like it should not be given a trademark for that name. Well, guess what the name of this business or this entity is named, saying that it is too close, that American Riviera Orchard is too close to their name. Their name is Royal Riviera. Royal Riviera. That's their name. And Megan wants a trademark for American Riviera Orchard. It's the most ridiculous thing in this world to think that American Riviera Orchard is too close to Royal Riviera. So what they're saying, nobody can use the word Riviera because that's the only word that they have in common with Megan's. So I went digging to see if I could find an article that could tell us a little bit about what is going on. And I found this in Vanity Fair, and it says Meghan Markle's trademark tweaks were expected, says source. And it said the Duchess of Sussex is moving forward with the American Riviera patent application during a routine process. And that's all it is. It said Megan is going forward with her plans for her new life brand, America Riviera Orchard, which begun sending out samples. And then they talk about the samples of the jam and the whatever. But my whole thing is, I think that's all speculation too. Who knows what Megan is going to sell? She might not sell jam. She might not sell dog biscuits. Just because she made them and put some labels on that and shared that with friends doesn't mean that is what she's going to sell. It said according to the trademark filing, the process is still ongoing with representatives at the U.S. Patent and Trade Office objecting to a few aspects of the name and previous application descriptions of the brand's calligraphy logo. So that whole calligraphy logo, which is basically Megan's writing, because she was a calligrapher. And so they have some kind of objection to that. Despite reports claiming otherwise, the news doesn't necessarily represent a setback for the brand, which is reportedly prepared for a wider launch later this year. Now, could it be that this new setback will push it back to the first of the year? Maybe it will. So what? So, what is your point? My whole thing is this absolutely could be a calculated attack trying to get something out there. But then I say it couldn't have, because this Royal, what is it? Royal Riviera had to be established before American Riviera Orchard was, and filed for their trademark. So we'll just see how it shakes out, but it is very unlikely that they are going to deny Megan name American Riviera Orchard because some other entity has a claim of Royal Riviera. Like I said, Megan does not have royal of any kind in that name. All they have in common is the Riviera part. And I am sure it's other companies and other entities have the word Riviera in their name. So what is your point, Royal Riviera? I'm just saying. So that is what's up with that. All right, we're going to go to this. This is something that has happened. Evidently, Us Magazine has put Kate on their cover. And of course, the squatties noticed something different about this cover. But I must say, all covers of magazines, they Photoshop, they airbrush a lot. But they are saying that they just absolutely airbrushed Kate just went to town, as my grandmother used to say. They just airbrushed her to the gods. And you can see the difference here. This one said if there was an award for the most Photoshop person, just saying. It's astounding. It is astounding. It is astounding. And this is the original announcement or the original post from um, US Weekly Magazine. And it says earlier this month, a radiant Princess Kate Middleton celebrated the end of her chemotherapy and returned to public duties alongside her husband. I don't know if I would go as far as say she done return. I don't know. I think that might be a lie. I'm just saying, because is that really returning, showing up just when you want to? I'm just saying. Because Charles, he is still supposedly still getting cancer treatment, and he was all in Australia and Samoa. I'm just saying, and she can't even go, to South Africa with her husband. So is that really returning? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being messy, but I don't think so. And it says Prince William following her scary cancer battle. Y'all, I know I'm being messy, but okay. It says the Princess 40 is motivated to do the work she loves while managing, I guess, her cancer or her health. Okay, but look at this photo. Woo! Okay, but then the squad is gonna come in and be as messy as possible. And they said this is a recent photo, BTE. Just trying to let you know that what you are posting on the front of your magazine is pretty much a lie. It is a lie. There's it goes. This is how Kate really looks. The squatties are not letting up. They don't care. They don't care. We are just going to let the truth be known. All right, this particular squatty is still on Kate's neck about this ring. This squatty said Kate wore Diana's ring while scuba diving and rarely took it off in almost 13 years. She rarely, it's hard pressed to find a picture of Kate in the past 12, almost 13 years without that ring on. And now all of a sudden she don't have that ring on. I said that I believe, and I'm on this podcast saying it's probably because she is copycating Meg. Because we all know they got a vision board in Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace copying everything that Harry and Meghan does. But somehow Meghan has the worst judgment ever. Her judgment is crap, according to old broke down Tina Brown trying to hustle up a job. I'm just saying, y'all, I'm in a messy mood. I'm in a messy mood. Yeah, old broke down Tina Brown. But that's what I was thinking. I don't know. But like I said, a lot of squatties think it's because of the D word, and he has asked for that ring back. But like I said, this particular squatty said this: Kate wore Diana's ring while scuba diving. She rarely took it off. She is not wearing it because William took it back. They keep telling on themselves. They're only been in public together twice in 10 months, June and October. Their marriage is over. I don't know. I don't know, but this squatty got some good points. That's all I'm going to say. Tell me she doesn't have any good points. She got some good points here. But like I said, we all know that Kate is a copycat, though, but I don't know. All right, we're going to move on to this. This popped up in a magazine. I guess it was a magazine, an online magazine or an online news letter or something like that. And it says Prince William, Kate Middleton makes preparation for King Charles' death. You know, you have to be a lousy father, and Charles is a lousy father, for your child not to care so little about you that they ready for you to punch your ticket and get up out of here, get on the train to you know where, HE double hockey sticks. They ready for you to go. Get aboard right now. Get on the train. And that tells me that he is you have to be a rotten, rotten father. William cares nothing for him. And he has made it perfectly clear that he does not. And it says Prince William and Kate are finally in line to start preparing for the death of King Charles. And this particular squatty commented on that. She said, I hope someone warned Paul to sleep with one eye open and to post a guard outside of his bedroom door. His lineage, his I guess she's saying his lineage man is getting impatient. Yeah, yeah, he is. Because I'm telling you, ever since the Queen died, it's been one article after another one about Charles getting up out of here, punching that ticket, getting on the train to HE double hockey sticks. Because we all know that's where he's going. I'm just saying. And it's been article after article after article. William running off at the mouth, talking about his coronation, running off at the mouth of how things are going to be different, running off the mouth. I'm telling you, ever since the Queen has died, William had let it be known that he wants Charles out of here. Out of here. He wants him gone. I'm just saying. That should make Charles feel real good. Him and his horse. because I said this in an earlier podcast. William and Kate is pretty much ready to set them aside. They are done. And this whole coup about Christmas, that is what that's about. They want to overshadow them at every cost. They are done with them. And like I said, it could not happen to a better person because Charles did the Queen the exact same way with his disrespectful behind. He was so disrespectful to the Queen. He absolutely was. He was so ready for her to go so he could have the big hat. And now he walking around here, and Diana has been on that neck the whole time, and he hadn't been able to enjoy none of it, him nor his horse. And I love that for him. All right, we're gonna change gears again, and this is something that I don't know nothing about. It is about some kind of program that's coming on in the UK, and it's supposed to tell a lot of secrets. And it says, new Channel 4 is planning to eye a special dispatch documentary on Saturday titled The King, the Prince, and Their Secret Millions. The title is now known for several delays by Channel 4. So people are saying that they're going to disclose some stuff that's never been disclosed before. And this is a documentary that has been postponed 2 times. And they believe there's some pressure being made by the palaces to not air it. This particular squatty said this. Uh, well, this is what Politics UK. I'm not a squatty. Politics UK posted this and said Channel 4 is planning to air a special dispatch documentary on Saturday titled The King, the Prince, and Their Secret Millions. The title is not now known after several delays by Channel 4. And this and this squatting went up and this squatting went up under that. In these folks' comments, when they didn't have no business being in these folks' comments, because they are commenting something that has nothing to do about this particular documentary. This squatty went under there and said, in other news, U.S. Weekly, seriously, you need to update your photo of Kitty. Now they made this comment about Kitty Cat up on the Politics UK's talking about this documentary. Now y'all know that squatties are nothing but messy, and that is the reason why I love everything about them, because they would do something like this. I just found this hilarious. I did. I found it hilarious. And I'm gonna play you what is his name? Minister of Hacks. And he is on TikTok, and he's talking about this particular documentary. And maybe y'all can understand a little bit about what it is. But like I said, evidently it's supposed to have new information about how they've been hiding all this money that they got. And they say the royal family, meaning William and Charles, don't want it to be seen. So we'll see. And I'm going to play this and we will discuss afterwards. I'm going to put a picture of the Minister of Hacks up and we will discuss.
Whether you're a British taxpayer or not, you need to watch out for this one and stay tuned to the output, because quite frankly, this could be the start of the avalanche for the British working taxpayer-funded royal family, which seriously debilitates them in multiple ways. On Saturday, Channel 4 and their dispatches team are airing a program entitled The King, the Prince, and Their Secret Millions. If you didn't know about the dispatches team, it's a team of famed journalists who are praised for their investigative qualities and their determination to get to the truth. Now, a lot of programs like this are hyped up by the media deliberately to increase the viewing figures, which also increases advertising revenue. But these guys are saying they are going to release documents never seen by the public before, which explain who is paying them, what they do for it, and why they're being paid. This could literally blow the lid off many, many secrets that the royal family want to keep under a bushel, literally. So the British tax-paying public don't understand how they operate. I'm going to be out on Saturday. I'm definitely going to watch this on catch up on Sunday. I think it's going to be a cracker. Comments are open. Let me know what you think.
All right, y'all have it. So evidently this is coming on channel 4 um Saturday, and people are excited about it. I don't know yet. I will watch and see. A lot of times they say this and that, but the monarchy, Charles and William they have their finger firmly around the neck. Well, they have their hands firmly around the neck of the British media. So I don't know who owns Channel 4, what's going on there, and if they're actually going to be able to speak the truth. But we will see. I think, they have found out that this monarchy is not making them any money. So it might be a signal of a turning point where they have started to turn against them. We will see. I don't know that much about it, but we will see. We will keep an eye on it, and we'll just go from there. All right, let's keep going. Well, this is one of the most enjoyable things that I saw while I was over on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm gonna tell you, the squatties, they had said that we wasn't gonna talk about Williams' documentary, and that it was supposed to be a mute challenge. But squatties could not help themselves when we found out that Williams' documentary is officially, y'all, officially a flippity flop. And I'm gonna put this up. I'm sorry, y'all. When I said it, I have to cackle because I must say it warms the cackles if I have any in my heart. They are warmed when I found out that this documentary was a flippity flop as I predicted. Roll back the film because I predicted it a while back that it was going to be that. And it is satisfying. It's satisfying when your predictions come to fruition. This particular squatty posted this. Below, it says, well, this is what the broadcast magazine said. Prince William's homeless doc takes in 1.5 million. That's 1.5 million views. Wednesday, ITV title opens well behind the 2.4 million viewer slot average. It is almost half as many people usually tune in to whatever else is in that slot. He just made it a little over a half. I think that's a flop, y'all. I think it's a flop. This squatty said below ITV slot average despite all of the free publicity and using his mom and using his brother. My grandmother used to say, God don't like ugly and he ain't too fond of cute either. And I love this for him. It said budget day fatigue. Perhaps maybe viewers wanted some escapism. I don't know. And this one right here, this one says, I know the squad told us to go on mute, but did they tell everybody else to? These numbers are abysmal. Prince William couldn't even break 2.4 mil. Forget bots. Can't watch this. SHIT. Oh, well. Because we know that's what's keeping all these hate channels here on this app going. There's a whole lot of bunch of bots just trying to continue these people to churn out this hate. That's the way they are paying them. They're not paying them straight out of the pocket. They paying them through bots, through bots watching their videos. I believe that. That's my belief. But I believe that. I really do. Because it's no way that these people are averaging these kind of numbers with that nonsense that they're talking over there. Something that can easily be checked and verified to be a bald faced lie. I'm just saying. This one says, for those people who thought I was somehow promoting this program by being negative about it, you will be relieved to know that despite the huge amount of publicity, not from me, the viewing figures were well below average for the prime time slot. I bet you that really, really hurts his feelings. People are not interested in him. But let Harry show up. The eyeballs will show up with him. And it said Prince William homeless doc takes in 1.5 million. And I think it's what, 30 some million people in Great Britain, in the United Kingdom. And you can only pull in 1.5 million. I just love that for him. I do. I do. And this one, Squatty said 1.5 million viewing figures for a primary, for a premiere. And after mentioning Harry too, way behind the prime slot of 2.4 million daily average figures. No crowd Willie strikes again. Excuse me why I cackle, y'all. Excuse me why I cackle. All right, and y'all know I broke the news yesterday that it's also they want the American public to see it too, so it's gonna be on Disney Plus. And this particular squatty reminded us why it might be that way. Why we are getting the pleasure here in the United States to be exposed to this nonsense that William done hatched up. You know, he an egg. He done hatched it up out of his egg head. And it says Disney CEO Bob Iger presented with an honorary knighthood in a ceremony presided by Prince William. I cannot say that word today. Some days I can say words and some I cannot. But he presided by uh, Prince William. So Prince William is the one who gave him that honorary knighthood. And looky, surprise, surprise, surprise. Bob Iger is allowing his documentary to be on Disney Plus. Well, good luck with that, Bob, because they can't even get them to watch it in their own country. Why in the HE double hockey sticks you think we're gonna watch it over here? I'm just saying. This squatty said, I'll admit to being slightly puzzled about that doc. Seemed like such a weird fit and sure flop. But I forgot about this. I guess it's a good corporate tax write off. I guess so. Because he absolutely gave the CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, an honorary knighthood. I mean, when they want something, they'll pass out them little worthless trinkets, won't they? And I don't understand why people line up for that little worthless mess made out of pewter. And it means nothing coming from somebody who has not earned anything except slipping out of the birth canal. I'm just saying. And also, we all want to remember that Meghan and Harry, how they dressed up for Halloween. Today is Halloween, and how they dressed up for Halloween. And this squatty said when it was Prince Harry's first Halloween with Meghan, and he didn't have a costume, so he just called up Tom Hardy and asked him for Mad Max wardrobe. Yes, that was their first Halloween together. I bet they are having a nice time. And speaking of Halloween, look who this guy dressed up as. I love it. It said this major slay moment. Is this not funny? I love it. I love it. It looks like that guy from Family. What is Modern Family? It looks like him. Yes, major slay. Major slay. And of course, we have to put the clown up. Where are the clowns? Send in the clowns. Oh, look over there at the royal family. They're here. Yes, that clown. And Diana, who keeps her foot on Charles and his horse's neck. And I wanted to post that, and she says, "Tell Charles I want him to know it was me." Yes, Diana keep coming in there with the good, good. I love it. And of course, we're going to put up the Sussy Squad because we are going to keep our foot on your neck. If you mess with Harry and Meghan, we will rip your face off. All right, y'all. That's it. See y'all later. Bye.